If the two of you want to speak for 2 minutes or so each on this publication that we just mentioned before, Faith for Earth, A Call for Action, I will invite you to have the opportunity to do so now. David, if you want to start.
If I may, Your Excellency.
Okay, you start then. Yeah.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Well, it gives me a great pleasure to be part of the launch of this rich and valuable and timely book, Faith for Earth, A Call for Action. It has been reiterated several times during all of our discussions during the conference. This is an intrinsic link between environmental science and religious teaching. It has been mentioned several times, including by the speech of by the executive director. We need to build bridges between scientific evidence and sacred scripts to create a mutually supportive consortium to link what the minds listen to and what the hearts believe in. With acknowledgement to the great work that has been done by so many authors over the years on religion and ecology, either faith-specific or issue-specific, on articles and books and papers, UNEP and the Parliaments of World Religions came together and agreed to publish a book that is comprehensive in its coverage of all major religions and all environmental issues. These issues that are also representative of the key priority areas identified by the Governing Council of UNEP, which is the highest international authority on the environment. UNEP and I personally are so proud of this highly valuable resource book. We are also proud of our partnership with the Parliament of World Religions and the Yale Forum on Religion and Ecology. Let me appreciate by name the contributions and leadership of making this book a reality, and certainly mentioning one affiliation of each of the respected contributors does not undermine their roles in other institutions, but just for the sake of time. The three co-editors are David Hales, Chair of the Climate Action of the Parliament of World Religions, Kosamita Pedersen, Chair of the Interfaith Center of New York, Tatiana Brail-Ovaskaya, Climate Action Parliament of the World's Religion, and the consulting editors, John Grimm, co-director of the Yale Forum on Religion and Ecology, Jeffrey Long, professor of Religion and Asian Studies, Elizabethtown College, Mary Evelyn Tucker, co-director of the Yale Forum on Religion and Ecology, Brenda Equozel, director of Climate and Energy Program, Union of Concerned Scientists, and Edward Maybach, director of the Center for Climate Communications, George Mason University. It's an honor to present to you David Hales and Kosamita Pedersen.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm sorry for the confusion, but in bringing all of you together from different parts of the world, it's not always clear how I see each of you on the screen here. So, David Hales, if you can now follow up on this, which I believe is the order you want to follow.
The message of the book Faith for Earth and the program Faith for Earth is straightforward. Sustainability with justice is the moral challenge of our time. That means that the climate challenge must be met. People of faith are essential to all workable solutions. All of the goodwill, however, and all of the good intentions in the world mean nothing if we do not match our words with aggressive actions.
Thank you. Professor Pedersen.
Thank you. In the year 2000, UNEP and in working with the Interfaith Partnership on the Environment in New York, published Earth and Faith, a book of reflection for action. Chief editor was Libby Bassett. And it was evidence of the early commitment of UNEP to involvement of faith communities in these issues, as Azza Karam said on Monday. And 20 years later, it seemed high time to publish a new version of this book. And we're so grateful to Iyad Abu Mowgli for his support for this. There will be a website with study guides, updates on the issues, embedded videos, deeper dives into the religious traditions and so forth. But the extraordinary website of the Forum on Religion and Ecology, which has been mentioned, will not be superseded. Should there be anything you want to know or need about religion and ecology, go to the website of the Forum on Religion and Ecology. And finally, I'd like to say, we have known for some time what the core teachings of the faith traditions are on environmental ethics, and you will find them in this book. This book is an introduction, a reference, a handbook, but it also has many references, links, and guidance for further learning and research. But it is an entry-level introduction which can be used in high school and college level, civil society, religious study groups, and for your own reference and reading. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you indeed, Professor, for your extensive contribution today, and thank you to all three of you for having introduced this publication, which will be, together with the declaration, the foundation of discussing how we all move together and succeed in building this global coalition that is indeed the aim of this entire dialogue. So after all that has been said and done under this auspices, it's now my honor to introduce the two final speakers of this global dialogue, the director of the UNEP Faith for Earth initiative and the Bishop of Iceland. And I will first introduce the director, Abu Mogli, and ask him again to take the floor for his final statement. And then I will briefly introduce the bishop, who will have the final word, and with her statement, we will close this dialogue. Director, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Brothers and sisters, what a wonderful week. Human fraternity demonstrated at its best. The unequivocal power of solidarity towards achieving our common goal. The symphony of truth composed by all of you. This is what it meant to me over the past 4 days, listening to the inspirational messages from their eminence and the faith leaders, but also by you, the leaders of change, that is ethical, moral, and spiritual energized. While Faith for Earth started 3 years ago, but the real beginning is today. A beginning that is enriched by your experience, charged by your wisdom, and driven by your support. As the African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. And this is exactly what we are doing today, charting the right path together for an impactful contribution to realizing a healthy planet for prosperous people living in peace and partnership and blessed by their prayers. Together, we can change this era from Anthropocene to an era of Ecocene. I would like to thank each and every one of you. Thank the faith leaders, the scientists, representatives of organizations, moderators, facilitators, rapporteurs, and individuals who took part in these discussions. I would like to thank the organizers, the government of Iceland, with all its machinery, but in particular, His Excellency, the Minister of Environment, who has been driving this since our first meeting in October 2018. I would like to thank the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Iceland, the United Nations Association of Iceland, the Soil Conservation Service of Iceland, the National Religious Partnership for the Environment in the US, Religions for Peace, the Baha'i Assembly of Iceland. I would not forget all my friends who have been working behind the scenes, including Paul Davidson, Deepika Singh, Cassandra Carmichael, Chris, Helga, Haldor, Greg, Jennifer, Magnia, Semi, Khlir and so many others in Skarholt and other places. Thank you very much for being part of this.
Thank you indeed, and thank you for the support and the engagement of your great organization in making all this possible. And we are indeed going to rely on your continuous support for this effort. Before I give the final word to Agnes M. Sigurðardóttir, the Bishop of Iceland, let me thank you for inviting me to this great historic cathedral today in these strange pandemic times and giving me the role to chair the final panel and the discussion that concludes this great gathering. Hopefully next year, in relation to the Global Arctic Circle Assembly with thousands of representatives from many dozens of countries from every continent in the world, we can continue this dialogue and this effort in a more common way that we all know, where we can look directly into each other's eyes and sense the great encouragement that we get from bringing people together. It is indeed strange to chair this final dialogue in this almost empty cathedral. I have been here many times before in historic services where the cathedral has been absolutely packed. And then to drive back to my residence on almost empty roads and see the people of Iceland gathering in their homes, in their privacy, not interacting because of the pandemic. But the fact that we were able to bring this together despite these challenging conditions is, I think, a testament to our common determination and common will to succeed. So now the Bishop of Iceland, Agnes M. Sigurðardóttir, will conclude this great global gathering, standing in front of the altar in the Skálholt Cathedral, the great historic place of the Church of Iceland.
Your Eminences, dignitaries, excellencies, distinguished delegates of the Conference Faith for Nature Multi-Faith Action, dear sisters and brothers. I want to say that again, dear sisters and brothers. My heartfelt gratitude for your contribution in this conference, Faith for Nature. In Iceland, we are humble and joyful for your participation. It has been magnificent to listen to your wisdom, to your contribution, to be a part of this multi-faith conference, to join with you all in this voyage we are on, to change our ways of living, to change our way of being, to save our mutual home on planet Earth. Coming together in this way brings us closer to each other. We become more like a big family, sisters and brothers, who are dear to each other. At the same time, we take important steps in the direction of sharing our ways to save our mutual home. This joint effort makes us one, on the same boat, one in the spirit. Now we need to follow our mutual outcome of the conference, make the declaration known in our societies, report and reach out with our common understanding to make an impact for good for the environment, the atmosphere, and the whole human world. This venue, Skálholt, which is one of the most historic places in Iceland, is always open for you, my dear sisters and brothers. When the pandemic times will be over, maybe we could come together here and plant trees and enrich our culture and spirituality. You are all welcome. The sisters and brothers, thank you. Thank you very much, and God bless you now and ever.